What it do, baby? What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Capo167 bringing you another Outriders build video. And in this build video, I present to you the Fire and Ice build. Alright, now, real quick, before we go further on this, I want to go ahead and say that this build works perfectly with 2 debuff Pyros or even 1. You're going to see that at the end of this video, I'm going to have 2 gameplays for you. I'm going to have it in a duos, and I'm also going to have it on solo. You're going to see how much damage you're capable of doing it in duos and how much damage you're capable in doing in solo. All right. Now, the survivability on this build is kind of shaky. So if you're going to use it playing solo, you kind of want to be careful and continuously to move around. So that way you don't get overwhelmed or overran. But the damage in this build is actually pretty good. And if you have 1 or even 2 debuff Pyro with this build, oh my God, it's even insane. All right. And I want to give a shout out to my guys, SirJoseph and Halo. I'm going to leave their links in the description so that way you guys can go check them out, because they're the individuals that gave me the idea. Well, actually, I stole it from them, and I kind of wanted to do a video myself on it. So I will leave the link in the description for those 2 gentlemen. So please do me a favor, go over to their channel, check them out. I mean, you could see this build with 2 debuff Pyros on their YouTube channel, and I tell you right now, it's going to be insane. Well, without further ado, let's get to it. First, we're going to take a look at the skills. You're going to see that I'm utilizing Thermal Bomb, Volcanic Round, and Ash Blast. All right. Thermal Bomb has an 8.5 second cooldown. Thermal Bomb, select an enemy to burn, interrupt, and deal 7,484 damage. If you kill while still afflicted by the skill, the enemy will explode, dealing 64,000 damage within a large radius. Now, Volcanic Rounds, you will see that this fills your current magazine with bullets that will ignite the air around enemies and inflict burn onto them. Even if the bullet misses, if the bullet hits, it causes skill damage, ignoring armor and piercing the target, damaging others behind them. The skill lasts until you reload or switch weapon. Now you're going to see I use a specific mod to keep the ammos going, and we'll talk about that when we get to the build as far as the gear and the mods. Okay, and last but not least, we have Ash Blast. It creates an anomaly blast to inflict ash onto all enemies within a large radius around you. That has an 11.5 second cooldown, and Volcanic Round has a 19.3 second cooldown. All right, let's take a look at the class tree. Now, as this being Fire and Ice build, Firepower Pyro, obviously we're going to go top tree. Okay, that's where we're going to start off, and then we're going to talk about why we went to the bottom. All right. So first off, you see that we take some Inferno Weapon, which increases our weapon damage by 8%. We take it, reduce cooldown by 15% on the Immobilized, so this is going to help the cooldown on the Ash Blast. We take some more weapon damage, but this time at 10% against marked enemies. This will help you because as you use Volcanic Round, it marks the enemy, so now you get 10% more weapon damage. We go up top here and we take Assault Master, which gives the assault weapon damage, increases the assault weapon damage by 20%. We move on over here to Trial of Ashes. Enemies afflicted with Ash receive 10% more damage. This proves to be valuable. Mark of Anomaly, another weapon damage increase by 10% on marked enemies. We take increase your resistance piercing by 15%. We go this route because Ash inflicted on enemy lasts 15% longer. The Curse of Pompeii, I kind of don't. I feel like it's kind of not, worth it. If you use Ash Blast correctly, well, if you hit your targets, you're gonna kill them pretty fast. So, and as you can see, you're gonna be able to see in the gameplay. All right. We take some more increased weapon damage by 10% on marked enemies. We take an increase of weapon damage by 8% again. More Mark of Anomaly here. Then we go down, we take Ashes to Ashes. Every time Ash is afflicted on an enemy, vulnerable status is inflicted as well. Nimble as a Flame, decrease reload time by 20%. hurt twice as long, increase damage against elites by 10%. Elites deal 10% less damage to you. Trial of Ashes again, but this time it gives us 15% more damage against enemies afflicted with Ash. And then down here, we take the Marble Orchid, and it reduces immobile skill cooldown by 15%. So another skill cooldown for the Ash Blast. And then last but not least, Burning Situation. Activating immobilized skills increases your weapon damage by 45% for 10 seconds. So either you use Feed the Flame or Ash Blast, and you will gain a 45% weapon damage. Alright, now we're going to go and take out last 4 nodes, and we're going to go to the bottom tree. Now, yes, I know, Kappa, why are we going to bottom tree? You're going to see why. So we gain Anomaly Power. We gain a 15% cooldown, reduced cooldown on your explosive skills. So that would be for your Thermal Bomb. And then we also get some more Anomaly Power by 10%. But the reason why we go down is because of this right here. Activating explosive skills increases your weapon damage by 35% for 10 seconds. So whenever you use Thermal Bomb, you're going to get another 35% weapon damage. This is going to prove to be valuable when you're going up against those elites, okay? Those Brood Mothers, those Behemoths, those Captains. This is when this comes to play, when you use your Thermal Bomb, all right? Now let's take a look at the build. Starting off with the headpiece, we have bonus firepower, close range damage, and cooldown reduction. I'm going to go later on, and we're going to discuss what you can change around here. Well, let's just discuss it now. Instead of close range, you can go ahead and use long range, okay? Due to the fact that you're going to use 3-piece Borealis, and Borealis comes with long range, you can utilize this build as a long range method the way somewhat as a Technomancer. I prefer having the close range on it because I'm a very aggressive player and I like to be up close and personal. Okay, so that's why I keep the close range damage on here. Okay, the headpiece came with Ashen Boost. Boost your damage against enemies afflicted with Ash by 10%. We're utilizing Ash Blast, so once we Ash the enemy, we're going to gain another 20%, okay, of damage on those enemies. And then I added Fire Frenzy, Thermal Bomb. The skills can be activated one more time before triggering the cooldown. So I have 2 Thermal Bombs to use now. Going down to the chest piece, once again I go bonus firepower, cooldown reduction, and close range damage. This chest piece came with personal space. Okay, grants you 25% bonus to close range weapon damage. Now, the only reason why I kept it, and I'm kind of glad I kept it, because I kind of play up close and personal, definitely, right? Number 1, so I get a 25% bonus to close range weapon damage. But this is the one area that you can play with, okay? If you want more survivability, then you throw mitigation from death or damage absorber there. Or if you can, you're a sniper and you can definitely hit your shots, then you want to kind of put crit stack on there. The chest came with personal space. I would have wished I would have had crit stack, but I don't regret using personal space because when I get pretty close to the enemy, I do a great deal of damage, okay? I added Bullet Kindling to this. It deals 20% more damage against enemies afflicted by burn. Volcanic Round afflicts burns on the enemy, so I do 20% more damage after I shoot them, all right? Moving on down, going over to the pants. Now here is the first piece of Borealis set that we're going to utilize, okay? The reason why we go pants, gloves, and boots is because the helmet, Borealis helmet, is absolutely 100% useless. Not only for the Pyromancer, but it's definitely useless for the Technomancers, right? But the trousers, they come with freezing boost, okay? And since we want that 90% damage on frozen enemies, we want to keep the freezing boost, okay? And it boosts your damage against enemies afflicted with freeze by 15%. So not only are you going to get that burn damage, that ash damage, but on your weapon, you're going to apply the freezing bullets, and we're going to go over that. On top of that, you get another 15%, okay? So as you can see, the damage is starting to stack up, right? And then we added Branded, all right? Thermal Bomb. Enemies affected by the skill receive 40% more damage. So as you can see, when I say we're talking to these elites and you apply all of these status on them, along with the thermal bomb, you're increasing your damage. Now you're starting to see these numbers kind of stack up. All these percentages. Excuse me, I can't speak right now, right? But you're starting to see them all kind of stack up right now, right? And now since we're rocking Borealis, the 3-piece bonus set increases damage on frozen enemies by 90%. That's the only portion you care about. You don't care about the crit hit damage because you don't have Cold Snap. All you really care about is increasing your damage on frozen enemies by 90%. All right? So this is where it starts to get really good, okay? And then on a chest piece, we don't use the chest piece because it has Icicle Storm. Once again, Borealis is mainly for Technomancer. Pyromancer does not have Cold Snap, so we eliminate the helmet, we eliminate the chest piece, and we just keep the pants, the gloves, and the boots, okay? Backing out, we're going to take a look at the gloves. The gloves come with max health, cooldown reduction, and long range damage, okay? The max health kind of helps you, okay? It really actually does, all right? Would we have preferred for it to be bonus firepower? Of course, more damage, right? We all like to see those big numbers. But with Pyromancer, you need the max health, okay? Because survivability is not that great on the Pyromancer, okay? In order for him to gain health, he either has to kill an enemy or he has to kill a marked enemy, okay? It's not like the Technomancer where he just has to do damage to regenerate health, right? Pyromancer does not work that way, all right? Now, this piece's gear set comes with Shattered. Deals 25% more damage against enemy afflicted by freeze, okay? So now, once again, these numbers are starting to stack up, right? And then Ash Blast, I went ahead and I added Death Sentence. Ash Blast, your weapon damage and anomaly damage against enemies afflicted by the skills are increased respectively by 40% and 30% for 8 seconds. So we don't really care about the anomaly damage. What we're more concerned with is the weapon damage. We're getting another 40% for 8 seconds every time we use Death Sentence. All right? Now, hey, you guys know I'm a math guy. Just start adding those numbers, okay? Start putting those weapon damage numbers together and start putting those more damage against enemies afflicted by whatever status, right? Start adding those together, okay? Now, moving on, continuing down to the boots. Now, on the boots, once again, max health, cooldown reduction, and long range damage. The boots come with Sharp Eye. Killing an enemy while aiming down sights grants you 16,000 firepower for 20 seconds and stacks up to 3 times. I went ahead and I added Captain Hunter. Increase your damage against elites by 25%. Okay, so now Sharp Eye is going ahead and is stacking more damage, more firepower for you. Okay, now all you have to do, once you kill 3 enemies, you're at your max stack. Okay, for 20 seconds, you're gonna have 16 times 3. What we're gonna say, that's probably 8, 1, about 48, 50,000 more firepower, somewhere within that vicinity. I want to say about 48 and some change. So it's going to be about 48, okay, thousand firepower being stacked on. All right. So that's insane. That is an insane amount of stacks that we have. So let's take a look. Okay. Let's go through the whole build right now. All right. So now we have Ashen Boost that increases our damage by 20% to any enemy that's afflicted with Ash. We have Bullet Kindling that gives us 20% more damage, any enemy afflicted with Burn. So now, if you use Ash Blast, you shoot an enemy, now you're up to 40% because now you're getting 20% on the Ash and the 20% on the Burn, right? We continue down, the Freezing Boost gives us another 15%, okay? 15. So now we go from 40, we add this other 15. Where are we at now, Chad? We have 55, right? Because your gun, we're going to go over the guns in a minute, okay? Your gun is going to have ultimate freezing bullets. So now you're at 55. You add another 25 to this. Now you're at 80. Okay? And then we take a look. Death Sentence gives you 40% weapon damage. Okay? Let's not forget Branded. Branded gives you another 40% more damage. So that 80 turns into what? About 120, right? So it's crazy, right? So now you have 120% more damage that you're inflicting on an enemy, okay? And then Death Sentence is giving you another 40% weapon damage, right? So it's looking really good. Personal Space is giving you 25% close range weapon damage on top of the 10 that you get from here and the 10 that you get from there, okay? So now what did that put it? That put us at 45% close range damage. If we take a look here, as we can see, all right, your crit hit damage is at a 95%. Your close range damage is at a 55.1. Well, we have close range damage here on the weapon, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, so as you guys can see, okay, it proves to work great. And also the status power, it kind of keeps the status that you apply on the enemy a little bit longer. Okay, all right, that's why we look for it, and that's why we appreciate the fact that this piece right here has status power. Okay, and then I also want to say that the cooldown reduction on these pieces right here really helps, really helps the build also, because now you're able to get that Ash Blast and that Thermal Bomb a little bit faster. All right, now going over to the weapons, here you see that we have the Assault Rifle. I went ahead and I used Transmog, guys, all right? I went ahead and used that new skin on my AR, okay? This weapon has crit damage, close range damage, and skill life leech, okay? If you're going to go the long range route, then obviously you replace long range, right? You replace close range with long range, right? I like the skill life leech because every time I use my skills, obviously I get a little bit of life leech. You can use some weapon life leech on there if you want. That's your, your choice, okay? Now, as far as the mod, this weapon dropped with Perpetual Mobile. This is where I get my rounds back, okay? I know, Capo, why don't you use Feed the Flame? For some reason, I don't like Feed the Flame. I dislike Feed the Flame. I'm not a fan of it. I'd rather use Ash Blast and Thermal Bomb, okay? Feed the Flame, I get it. It gives you your rounds back, it heals you, and it ashes the enemy, right? But it's kind of single target, okay? I like Ash Blast. I get a whole radius, and then I can just start shooting people, okay? Feed the Flames, I'm basically bound by a cooldown, and if I continue to shoot, like, Capo aim is not the greatest, I feel like I'm going to lose my rounds more often utilizing Feed the Flame than Perpetual Mobile. And once your ammo count gets down to about 10 or less, you want to kill an ad, okay? You want to kill an enemy so that way it could push it back up to the 20s, maybe 30s, all right? That's the way that works. So I kind of pay attention a little bit, and when I see that I'm at 10 or lower, I look for those little small ads, all right? I look for the little small ads, and then I kill them, and then I get my rounds back. And you're going to see that in the gameplay, all right? Then I went ahead and I added Ultimate Freezing Bullets. Shots inflict freeze on enemies with a 1-second cooldown. This is your bread and butter right here. This is your bread and butter AR. Okay, you're getting your rounds back and you're applying freeze so that way Borealis can take effect. Okay, so this is how you apply your freeze. You shoot volcanic rounds to apply your burn, and you use Ash Blast to apply your ash. Okay, this works phenomenal. All right. Now, my secondary weapon is the Infernal Seed. I've tested the Infernal Seed. Only thing is, I do not have a way to get my ammo back. Okay, this is the only part that I kind of didn't like about the gun. It does some great damage. I'm just not able to get my rounds back, and I want to keep volcanic rounds up as much as possible. You're going to see in the solo gameplay that I lose my rounds twice, all right? But I'm still able to do damage, okay? I'm still able to kill the enemies. I'm still able to kill an elite. It's no issue there, okay? But I just prefer to keep volcanic rounds up. But if you want to go ahead and run the Infernal Seed, you can go ahead and either keep Brain Eater, where every time you crit, it doesn't utilize your round if you're able to hit your shots like that. Or you can remove Brain Eater and keep Wrath of Moloch, which critical hits causes an explosion dealing 221,000 damage and inflicts burn on enemies within a 5-meter radius. So as you see, you still have a way to apply burn even if you lose your volcanic rounds. All you have to do is hit a crit shot, okay? And then obviously you apply Ultimate Freezing Bullets to it, and then there's your gun, okay? So these are some of your options that you have. And then Infernal Seed comes with crit damage, status power, and long range damage. So, hey, if you want to play that long range game, this is not a bad option for you. Okay, this is definitely not a bad option for you. You still have a way to apply the burn, and you're still applying freeze, and then Ash Blast is going to apply your Ash. All right. Now, as far as your pistol, that's just there for decorations. As you can see, I'm rocking the Torment and Agony. All right. I want to go back to the skill tree because there is another way that you can run this build, okay? And that's utilizing armor piercing. I know, but Capo, running volcanic rounds, you don't have to worry about that. But hear me out. Just in case if you lose your rounds, this is another route that you can take, okay? As we go over here, you're going to take this node right there. So you wouldn't go this way, right? Obviously, you would not go this southern route. But what you would do is you would take sidearm adept, so that way you could take armor melting, okay? It increases your armor piercing against marked enemies by 30%, okay? It increases your armor piercing against marked enemies by 30%. Now, you still have two other nodes to utilize, okay? You still have two other nodes to utilize. The other two nodes that you're going to use is Blood Boil, the armor piercing nodes. It gives you 10% here and 10% there. All right. So that's what you would utilize for these four right here. You would take 1, 2, 3, and 4, and now you're at 50% armor piercing. So just in case if you lose volcanic rounds, you'll still be able to do some very, very good amount of damage just using regular rounds. Okay. And if you're going to go the Infernal Seed route, it is not a bad idea. Okay. Not a bad idea to go ahead and say, hey, you know what? Let me try this armor piercing. Or if you get an AR that looks a little bit like this. So maybe you can get an AR that has these attributes: armor piercing, close range damage, and status power. Or you can even go with this AR right here that has armor piercing, long range damage, and close range damage. Okay, so now you get the best of both worlds, right? Long and close. And then, as you can see, mine already has perpetual mobile. And then what I could do is I could apply freezing bullets to this. And then, hey, there's my AR. Okay? So that's an option. You can definitely go that route to just in case if you lose volcanic round. Now, hey, look, you have armor piercing. Okay? And then it's not fully maxed out. But if you take that 50% from the skill tree, and I'm going to guess that it goes up to 30%, so now I'm 80%, okay? I'm about at 80% armor piercing, which is not a bad gig, okay? Definitely not a bad deal. But that's another option if you want to run this build that way. That is how SirJoseph, the individual, one of the individuals that I stole this idea and build from, okay? They run it this way, and once again, I'm going to put the link in the description of their channel, okay, so that way you can check them out and you can see how they run this build. But SirJoseph runs it with the armor piercing route, okay? Now, real quick on the class tree, I know you guys are saying, but Capo, you're not using Incinerate, where the moment burns ends on the burn ends on an enemy, it inflicts Ash status. Yeah, I'm not, and the reason is obviously, as you can see, I prefer the 35% weapon damage, okay, anytime I use Thermal Bomb. All right. And then there's also other avenues of approach that you can go. If you want a little bit more survivability, you got Weapon Leech there, and then activating Ash Blast skills doubles Weapon Leech for 4 seconds. Okay. So, you know, you have different avenues of approach, but this is how I run it. You know, if you want a little bit more survivability, hey, add the Weapon Leech there, and on your weapon. And then that would give you a little bit more survivability. Or you can remove the close and personal that I have over here. Well, personal space, right? You can remove the personal space and you can add maybe mitigation of death, mitigation from death, excuse me, or damage absorber. All right, and there you have it, folks, the Fire and Ice. Hope this helps you out. Please be sure to check me out on Twitch. The link will be in the description with the time and days that I'm live. You never know. I could be live right now, willing and able to answer any and all the questions you have concerning Outriders build, gameplay, or just anything Outriders. Because, you know, I am an Outriders ambassador, right? Alright? Please smash the like button and don't forget to subscribe. Stay up to date with all my upcoming build videos here on YouTube. Once again, I want to give a shout out to SirJoseph and my guy Halo. I'm going to leave the links to their YouTube channel in the description also, so that way you guys can go over there and check them out. They're updating this FP Pyro thing consistently, non-stop. Alright? And I'm going to give you a little secret. My next video is going to be called Toxic Flames. You don't want to miss that one. Alright? I appreciate y'all. Have a good one, fam. I'm out.
See a way to descend?
Sure, Doc. Let me just grab my climbing gear and some rope.
What was that noise?
Storm's trying to compete with me. Wants to see who can level this fast. So far, I'm winning.
If the packs were last making alcohol when that bastard Monroy showed up, it's at least a new.
What?
Guys, I take it back. This is the treasure. The John Wells Spring.
I'd like to see it once the storm clears.
A night like this almost makes you forget how fucked this place is.
Looks like this one could linger over us for a while.
Well, at least I have a nice view and something to drink.
Hey, say some for the rest of us.
No promises.
Outrider detected. Access granted.
I wish I was sharing a bottle with you, yeah? I miss you. must be the Colosseum. Who the hell are you? The Pharaoh found a car. Now they think I'm falling for this painfully obvious trap. What a bunch of clowns. Creatureless. That Pharaoh maniac after them for sport. I think that's the last of the monsters, but that maniac isn't too happy about it. Here we go. bad shot. Maybe he'll finally shut up now. The pod is ours.